Hey guys, hope you're having a great summer. Here today to teach you how to draw a Mickey Mouse. I know some of you have done it before, and hope you enjoy it. Alright, so first thing you need for drawing Mickey is a piece of paper and a pencil. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. For mine, I'm just using this regular mechanical pencil. We'll start with a circle. You can either draw it freehand, or you can do like I'm going to do for this one and just find something to trace. I'm going to use this little container. Line it up in the middle of your page. And you want to, all your starting lines, you want to make sure you do them really lightly. And it's going to trace all the way around. Move that, and there we go. Now, in order to do his face, we're going to set up a couple of little guidelines just to be able to use as reference points. So to do that, all we're going to do is split the circle into 4 pieces. We'll start by doing a line straight down the middle. Just like that. And then I'm going to do another line right across the middle. Just like that. Alright. And then when I'm doing it, I usually start with the nose area, because it kind of centerpiece of the whole thing. So right where the lines crossed in the middle, we're going to add a little bit of a curved line. Start a little bit over to the side. I'm going to cross right where the lines meet and come back down. For most of what you're going to do for drawing Mickey, we're basically going to act like this middle line is a mirror. So everything you do over here, you're going to basically make it match on this side. So this curved line will be the top of his snout. You know how when you look at Mickey from the side, his nose like sticks off from his face a bit? That's what this line helps represent when you're looking straight at him. Now we'll draw his nose, which is just a simple oval shape right underneath that line, just not quite as wide as that line. And there you go. Next thing we're going to do is start outlining the mask of his face. Because with Mickey, his head is black, but his face area is actually more of a peach tone. So we're going to start up here, and basically to do the top of it, it's just kind of a curved V. Start from the center line there, just draw a slightly curved line out, and then do a mirror image one on that side. Next, we're going to add in his mouth. So you're going to go find a space about halfway between the edge of his nose and the outside of the circle. So right about here. And we're going to start drawing a curved line downward. And this line is going to basically follow the curve of the circle. And you want to make sure while you're doing it, the lowest point of the curve is when you cross this line. So as soon as you get to that line, you want to level off and go back up until you get halfway between his nose and the other side of the circle. Went a little off there, but it's okay. Now we're going to draw Mickey with a nice open mouth kind of smile. So right around here, just a little bit to the left of where his nose is, we're going to start on the mouth, and we're going to bring a line, start curving it down until we touch the outside of the circle. Just like that. And we'll do the same thing over here. And now we're going to connect those two lines with another curve. Drawing Mickey is basically a combination of circles and curved lines. He does not have any straight edges on him. See, just a curved line there connecting those two lines just outside the circle. And to add the detail of his bottom lip, what we're going to do is just outside of that line, we're going to come just above the bottom of the circle and do another curve. It kind of follows the shape of the mouth. Come all the way around and come back up just inside the circle on that side of his mouth. So now we can add his cheeks. So it's going to be more curved lines. These go kind of over the top of the ends of his mouth. So starting about here, but partway between the mouth and his nose, we're going to do a curved line upward to the cross line here. And just curve it back down until it touches the circle. And again, we're going to mirror it over here. You see, when I did it, I made sure the line was starting its way back down before it touched the circle. So it kind of merges into it there. And Mickey is made up of circles, but his head is not a perfect circle. So now we're going to start giving a little bit more of a defined shape to his face. So at the edge of these lines you just made, we're going to go and come just a little bit outside the circle. Just a little bit, and follow it around until you touch the lip. And see, it just kind of rounds off his cheek a little bit more. I'll do the same thing over here. And now we're going to finish off the mask part of his face by coming up to the edge of the V that you made earlier. And just, you don't want to leave the circle with this. Well, you can kind of peek outside the edge there. But you mostly want to stay on it and come around a little bit and then curve down. And just keep curving it until you meet the end of the line you made for his cheek. Just like that. And see, now you're starting to really see Mickey start to show up there. So now what we're going to do is give him his eyes. His eyes are two ovals right here. They're kind of going to look like surfboards stuck in the sand because they're going to kind of stop on the top of his nose, or top of his snout there. So we'll start here. And bring it up and over. And come down till you touch that curved line again. And what I'm going to do now is draw a very light line. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Just across, touching the top of that eye. This isn't really part of Mickey's face. This is a guideline I'm making myself so that I can make both eyes the same height. And so now we're going to do another oval over here. And now he's got the outside of his eyes. But he can't really see without the pupil there. So we're going to add those in now. Which is just more ovals. You want to come just to the inside corner of his eye. And you want to curve up. And back down. It's not the whole oval. It's just kind of poked in there in the corner. But you want to make sure you have this little bit here where it comes up. Because if you have it just meet the edge of his eye there, it'll make him look more cross-eyed. And you want him to be like looking at you when you're finished. So now we're going to do another one over here. See? Now he can see you. So next thing we're going to do is finish off kind of the shape of his head. So like I said earlier, his head is based on a circle, but it's not a perfect circle. So we're going to come up here where his mask meets the outside of the circle. And we're just going to kind of draw a curved line. Doesn't quite match up with the circle. Staying inside the circle until you get down to his cheek. See, it just kind of evens him off a little bit. Do the same thing over here. Alright, now we're going to add a little bit more of the detail to his face. It's not a bunch, but just a little bit kind of finishes him off. So at either end of his mouth, we're going to draw the dimples, which is just going to be a very small curved line that just touches the end of the line you drew for his mouth. And we're going to do it over here too. That kind of gives him his nice big dimples when he smiles. And now we're going to add in his tongue. So we're going to go inside his mouth down here. Start a little less than halfway up. Start a curve, kind of goes up and down and just crosses over the center guideline. Just like that. And then you go to where that just crossed the center guideline. And you're going to do another line up and then down till it hits the outside of his mouth. And for his nose, you know with Mickey, his nose isn't just a flat circle on his face. It's got more of like a ball shape to it. So the add a little bit of highlight to it to make it look a little more 3D, all we're going to do is basically draw a little jelly bean right over here. Just like that. And see, it just kind of gives a little bit more of a shape and depth to his nose. I feel like Mickey's still missing something. That's right, his ears. So again, you can draw the circles freehand, or you can use a small cup or something like this one to trace. I'm going to use this because his ears are circles. And you know, the funny thing about Mickey is that whichever way his head's turning, his ears always look like perfect circles to you. Kind of a tricky mouse that way. So now we're just gonna gently go around the outside. And there's one. And we're gonna try to line up the other one so it's even with that guy. So we're gonna go right about there. And there he is. And so now you can go back in and kind of start cleaning up some of the guidelines. And some of them it's going to be really tight, so it's okay that you might end up erasing a little bit of the lines that you wanted to leave, but that's okay, we can patch those up. And I'm not going to worry much with erasing the lines that are within the darker spaces, because I'm going to shade those in, so those lines will be hidden that way. I just want to get as many as I can out of the lighter areas. And I get the outer edge of that circle gone too. And it's okay if you don't get all the lines completely gone. It just makes him look more like he's right off the animator's desk before they do all the finishing stuff for the animation. Because I kind of collect some Disney art and things, and some of my favorite stuff is the stuff that looks like it just got finished. It hasn't been put through all the production pieces yet. It's just right off the animator's table. Alright, and so now we can kind of start to shade him in. And see, kind of fix some of the lines that I hit with the eraser. And you guys don't have to shade them in like this. You can grab, you know, markers or color pencils or anything you want to color them in. But for this one, I'm just gonna shade them in with my pencil. I would recommend for the ears, because they're a wider area, if you happen to have a different pencil handy, doesn't have to be an art pencil, but just a regular, you know, one you use a pencil sharpener for, it works a little bit better for shading these larger areas. But as you can see, mechanical pencil works, just takes a little extra while you're going. And here he is. And then you can always add a little something, like if you want him to say something, like I'm going to put, I love camp. And I add like a little speech bubble. It's just kind of a big, soft kind of shape with a point that heads towards his mouth, just so it looks like he's saying it. And then sign your art. And there you go. Alright guys, I hope you had a lot of fun learning how to draw Mickey Mouse. Can't wait to see you all next year. And if you want to, I included my email address on the printout for how to draw Mickey. I'd love to see a picture of your drawings. Guys, have a great summer and I'll see you next year.